Hello.
Hey, Scott.
Nothing happens without Megan.
This is the pre-season packet.
I have no idea what police over here. Police liaison. All right, so we're gonna do it just like that. I owe money.
We did,
Chief, I owe money.
we only one?
For this-
Did you stay?
I know yours.
No, it's
So there's a
no big
couple
deal.
of them in there, the officers.
All right. Ready?
Chief, can we start the meeting?
Sure. You could,
All right, welcome, everyone. I'd like to call the March 24th, 2021 regular session agenda meeting of Long Hill Township to order.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting, specifically the time, date, and public call-in information were included in the meeting that was electronically sent to the Echo Sentinel and posted on the township website. Meeting agenda and public handouts for this meeting can be viewed online at www.longhillnj.gov. A public comment period will be held in the order it is listed on the meeting agenda. When the mayor opens up the public comment portion, if you're using a computer and would like to add a public comment, please raise your hand. To raise your hand, click the participants button on the bar located on the bottom of your screen. Once the bar pops up, scroll to the right and there will be an option to raise hand. If you're dialing in and would like to make a public comment, press *9 when the mayor opens up public comment.
Thank you, Megan. Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Megan, would you please take roll?
Committeeman Dorsey,
Here.
Committeeman Lavender,
Here.
Committeeman Verleza,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Ray. Deputy Mayor Ray,
You're on mute, Brennan.
Sorry, present.
Mayor Paserchia.
Present. Okay, item number 2, if you're following at home, we have the honor, or I have the honor to present. We have a resolution to appoint Dylan Croker, I hope I say the name correctly, to probationary police officer. Can I have a motion to approve resolution 21-078?
So moved.
I'll second.
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Committeeman Lavender,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ray.
I wish Dylan a long and successful career with Long Hill Police Department, but I have to abstain from this resolution.
Mayor Paserchia.
Yes. At this point, I would like to invite Chief Naga to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, it's another night of honor for the police department to bring on a new member to this police agency, to this family of Long Hill Township police officers. Dylan comes to us with high recommendations from various employers, academies, and current police department. Dylan came to us after a thorough process. He took part in a process that was quite extensive, involving multiple interviews, a detailed background investigation, thorough, I need to say, by Detective Roberts. No problem. He was involved in a practical exercise. I don't think he knew it, but he was part of a practical exercise. He also partook in a physical agility test. Again, an extensive process, and he came out in our top 4 candidates. That's not a surprise, considering Dylan came out number 3 of 95 recruits at K-May County Police Academy, and just missed really first place by a fraction of a point. His history suggests that he's an absolute good candidate for the Long Hill Township Police Department. He's shown strong integrity and ethics in his career. He is a graduate of Middlesex County College. He graduated there with an associate in science and criminal justice. He also went on to K-May County Police Academy in May of 2018. Followed by that, he worked at Wildwood Police Department as a SLEO 2 for the season. Performed very well there. Then moved on to the Borough of Englishtown Police Department, where he started out as a Class 2. And due to his hard work over there, they sent him through Monmouth County Police Academy for accelerated waiver program, and he did very well there. He's also a member of the South Old Bridge, or was a member of the South Old Bridge Fire Company, where he performed various calls related to fire service. Again, very good fit for the Long Hill Township Police Department. I think he's going to have a very bright future here with us, and I would like to welcome him and his family up for the swearing in.
Right up here. I'm gonna get kind of close here so we can all get the shot. You guys want to hold the Bible? You can put the right, there you go. Come on in a little bit closer so we can get you all in here. Okay, you're gonna repeat after me. I, Dylan Croker,
I, Dylan Croker,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the governments established in the United States
to the same and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state, county, and township,
and in this state, county, and township,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the office of police officer
all the duties of the office of police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So you're gonna sign that one right there.
Everybody knows that he's taking.
Thank you.
if you can come around, present your awards. You guys can have a seat.
Chief, did you want me to say something?
I'm gonna just, when we present these badges.
I'm just-
Right hand.
You guys be quick. There you go. I apologize for kind of going off course a little bit. I received some sad news this afternoon from one of our retired officers, a deputy chief of ours. He advised me that a past or former retired officer from Long Hill Township Police Department, Captain Walter Russo, passed away overnight, I believe it was. So I'd like to just take a moment to honor and respect the life of retired Long Hill Township Police Department, Captain Walter Russo. Captain Walter Russo, badge number 18, served the Long Hill Township community from 1968 to 1994. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family. Rest in peace, Captain Russo. We have it from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
So we're going to take 1 minute and get back to our offices, and then we'll take the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
You're right there. She's going to rename you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
All righty then. Where we got the gallery view? Ah, look at that. So are we ready?
Ready.
I believe so.
Megan, you may be on mute, are you?
No, everybody's good.
No, we're up to ordinance 47121 for first reading and introduction.
Beautiful. What Megan said. So this is first reading. Any questions, comments from the Township Committee? Hearing none. I'm looking for a motion to approve ordinance 471-21. This is first reading. And, well, I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
I think Vic said second. Vic, you're on mute.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Yes.
Committeeman Lavender,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ray,
Yes.
Mayor Paserchia.
Yes. So ordinance 471-21 will be considered for final passage and adoption at a public hearing on Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. At that point, members of the public can opine, ask questions. Next up, ordinance 472-21. This is also first reading, introduction. I'll read the synopsis of this ordinance, prohibiting the operation of any class of cannabis businesses within the geographical boundaries of the Township of Long Hill, and supplementing and amending Chapter 3 entitled Police Regulations, and Chapter, I think that might be a typo.
No, it's
Megan,
LU.
it's
That's under the new code company. They changed the chapter heading to LU for land use.
It is LU? Okay.
Yep.
LU entitled zoning of the Township Code. Just one thing for the benefit of the public. Jack, if you could briefly explain, by prohibiting, that is really opting out of the business. We can opt in at any time, but maybe Jack, if you could explain that.
Yes, that's correct. We're opting out of allowing cannabis as businesses, retail, manufacture. The only thing we can't prohibit is delivery by state law. And as you said, Mayor, we can opt in at any time. This gives the township time to consider the ramifications of the whole statute. And I see in the paper that a lot of amendments are being offered in the meantime.
So, and we can't prohibit delivery or use.
That's correct. Yeah, I forgot that part.
Any questions from the Township Committee, comments? Or discussion on this, I suppose.
Wait, is this the first reading or second reading?
First reading.
Look, I'm not gonna go to the store, but I have no problem with one being here. People are gonna go buy it anyway, so why not come to our town and buy it? Whether they go to Berkeley Heights or Bernardstown, wherever, down the hill to 22. But let's say, for example, they put a store somewhere in Valley Mall, for example. That means there's gonna be a lot more foot traffic to local businesses there and other places in town. So it could be used to attract other businesses. And hey, if they get the munchies, Panera might go boom in business, Natal's, who knows? RC's Kitchen. But that's why I say I have nothing against it. It's legal. If people want to do it, that's fine. It's like a liquor store. You don't have to go in, but it's there if you want it.
Questions? I think Brendan froze, or no?
Nope.
No.
Scott?
No questions.
Vic?
I'm good.
Okay, so I'm looking, can I have a motion to approve ordinance 472-21?
So moved.
Second.
Megan?
Committeeman Dorsey,
No,
Committeeman Lavender,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ray,
Yes.
Mayor Paserchia.
Yes. Okay, so ordinance 472-21 will be considered for final passage and adoption at a public hearing on Wednesday, April 28, 2021. At that meeting, the meeting will be open to the public for questions or comments. On to item number 4 in your program. Consent agenda resolutions. Any questions or comments from the Township Committee? This is 21-083, 21-097.
Mayor, I have one addition with respect to resolution 21-095. The effective date of that is January 1st of this year.
So looking for, any comments, questions? Anybody need to recuse themselves?
I'll certainly abstain from some of them. But one thing I'd like to say, Mayor, if I could,
Sure.
I see 21-086 is accepting the retirement of Officer Jolino. And I just want to thank Chris for his many, many years of dedicated service to the township and wish him very well in his retirement.
And I second that. Absolutely. Chris, congratulations and enjoy retirement. And so when we vote, is that Brendan, when you will say which ones you're recusing yourself from? Okay.
Yep.
Any questions, comments from any resolutions to be pulled? Hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve 21-083 to 097 with the amendment from Jack Pigeon authorizing the date to be retroactive to Jan 1, 2021 on 21-095. So we're looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Committeeman Lavender,
Yes on everything, and I recuse myself from 21-091.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ray,
Yes, but I'm abstaining from 21-085, 21-086, 21-087, 21-088, and 21-097.
So why did you come tonight, Brendan?
and Mayor Paserchia.
Yes. Somebody's got to do the heavy lifting. Megan? All right, so no, I guess it's me, right? Guy?
Yeah.
Guy? Where am I?
Liaison reports.
Work,
I'm
guys.
I'm sorry. Work. We'll stop on that part, right? So liaison reports. Let's start with Vic. I think Vic is bursting at the seams. Look at him.
No, I'm fumbling the ball on the liaison report. I'm here in town hall. I don't have my computer nor access to my email, so I can't give my Long Hill Township Police liaison report.
So the dog ate your liaison report.
Yes, it's on my email that I don't have access to from town hall, from City Hall here. I'm sorry.
All I know is I used to memorize it before the meeting.
Well, you were dedicated.
That's...
All right, so let's go, Scott.
Yeah. So I'll twist the dagger into Vic here as I share my screen again. Because I'm prepared. Okay. Recreation. Peter Cottontail. When is he visiting? This Saturday, April 3rd, from 9 a.m. to 1. It's going to be a drive up. There'll be a car line. Bring the kids. Wave hello to Peter Cottontail. The egg hunt and the goose chase scavenger hunt are starting in 2 days, March 26th, and running through April 2nd for the egg hunt and April 3rd for the goose chase. So go to our recreation website right off of longhillnj.gov to get more information. Next, we talked about this the last time, but we can't talk about it enough. Virtual STEM programs, spring 2021. There's 3 courses going on: Minecraft game designing, the art of filmmaking, and Roblox game design. And prices and registration is on Community Pass. Next, virtual babysitting. My daughter signed up for this. The virtual babysitting training class, grades 6 through 12. These are dates that are being offered in April, May, and June. Again, go to Community Pass. Have your children of the appropriate age learn the skill of babysitting and help the community. Next, gentle yoga in the park. Matt, you do this, don't you? These are the yoga classes in the park, Tuesday mornings, 4, 5, and 5. How is this, Matt? Is this good?
Oh, I've been to one yoga class and it wasn't pretty.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's there for everybody else. So again, go to Community Pass. And here's something that all the kids in town have been waiting for: basketball. Who wants to get out of the house? Everybody does. Join our Cantor Basketball League, and there'll be spring clinics starting up. It'll be Tuesdays, grade 1 and 2 from 4 to 5 p.m., 3 to 4 from 5:30 to 6:30, and grades 5 to 8 on Thursdays from 4 to 5:15. Register online. And then the spring basketball tournament is happening as well. Rosters are being assembled, 5 players per roster. There'll be brackets set up. Come to our website and get more information on that, and sign up as well. So a lot going on with recreation. I'm done.
Nice job, Scott. I was expecting to hear though, and if you sign up now, you'll get not just 1 but 2.
So it looks like we lost Guy temporarily. So Deputy Mayor Ray, would you like to take over the meeting?
Okay. I'll give a quick liaison report from the COVID-19 task force meeting that we had today. We discussed oh, he's back. We discussed the Stirling Lake opening for summer 2021 and the Long Hill Memorial Day Parade. And so the good news is that I think we agreed that we should open the lake on time this year, given the success that everybody had the rec department had last year with the opening on July 4th. Much the same restrictions will be in place, but I know it was welcomed by everybody who participated last season. And we are looking at the moment to having the Long Hill Memorial Day Parade this year. Really, the wild card is what the types of restrictions are going to be in place whenever Memorial Day rolls around. But we're certainly at the moment planning on having the parade, and more details to follow. So that's my update from the task force.
Can I make a correction? I misspoke on my report. Peter Cottontail just texted me. He's actually going to be here this Sunday, March 28th, 9 to 1. Be there.
Where's he gonna be again? At the local businesses, right?
Town Hall. Let me text him
can
and
be
find
here.
out.
Let me text him and find out.
He's going to be on the platform by the library entrance.
Right.
Ah,
And he'll
okay.
wave to cars as they go by, and his helpers will bring bags of Easter eggs to the kids in the cars.
And Peter will practice social distancing and wear a mask, correct?
Yeah, I think he's going to stay on the top of the platform, so he'll be really far away from the cars. So
He'll be
can't
60.
get much more distant than that.
All right. Matt, you didn't go yet, right?
Do you want to handle the OEM report?
Can you? Because I don't have it with me.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll start. DPW, the mulch sale starts in April, so they start taking orders April 1st. Last year, the mulch went very quickly. So please get your orders in April 1st, which is next Thursday they start. The DPW, you've seen them out with the cones out. They've been doing blacktop repairs and curb repairs the last couple of weeks, fixing all the water basins, the catch basins. A lot of them sag, or they have to put a lot of masonry work, and they're cleaning up the lake and other township-owned properties. As for OEM, let me pull up the email. Okay. All right, let's see. OEM, in conjunction with Bernard's Health Department, Atlantic Health nurses have offered to conduct COVID-19 vaccinations at home for homebound individuals. If you are someone or know someone currently seeking a vaccine, and you're homebound, please contact OEM by phone or email to register for this program. The office number, I'm guessing if you're homebound, your best bet to call is 908-647-6131, or the email is oemcoordinator@longhillnj.gov, or you can just call Town Hall and ask for OEM. It's probably the easiest way. For our 65 plus residents, the state is partnering with 68 Walmarts and Sam Club sites to offer dedicated 65 plus vaccine appointments to facilitate appointments at these sites. There's a specific senior call line to call, and that number is 856-249-7007. It's open from 8 to 8. That's AM to PM. Again, you can always reach out to OEM and they will give you this information if I'm talking too fast. And finally, the Walmarts in Morris County will be available for vaccines starting March 29th. So check the Long Hill Township COVID resource page for links. So that starts March 29th, which is next Monday, for Walgreens in Morris County. I believe that's it, and thank you.
Matt, thank you very much. I'll just say a few things. I saw on Facebook this week, there was some concern about what the winter months had done to the bocce court. I spoke with our wonderful recreation director. So see, I'm horning in on your space there, Scott. And she assured me when the weather permits, some work will be done to get it back up to the competition level standard that it needs to be. There's been some concern mentioned regarding the trees along Valley Road at Cantor Park because some of them have been removed. The reason they've been removed is in most cases, the Emerald Ash Borer, EAB, unfortunately, a lot of those trees died. So they've been removed. We recognize that it has presented some additional noise both into the park and out of the park, and also some visibility into the park. And when we built the turf field and put the lights in, we had assured the residents that live on Valley Road that there would be a screen there. So we are looking into it, and it will be addressed at a future meeting. But it doesn't escape us that the condition there has changed, and it presents a noise and a visibility concern. So just wanted to clear that up. Speaking of trees, and this is our wonderful chairperson of the Shade Tree Commission, and her commission members for years have worked on the application for Tree City USA. I must admit, anytime I drove over into Bernardsville, I think it is, and one of the other towns over there, they have their little signs, and I was very envious. Part of me, being from Jersey City, I thought I might just take theirs, but nah, we didn't. We did it the old-fashioned way. We earned it. Long Hill Township has been designated a Tree City USA. Each of the members of the commission have received their secret Dakota pins or whatever it is they receive, but we will be getting a plaque and we will put it up proudly. And what else do we have? We do this every meeting and I don't want to miss this one. Just a special thanks to all the volunteers in town. Too many to mention, and both the ones that are on official bodies like the first aid squad, the fire department, etc., and also those that work just as straight volunteers. For example, I was reading on Facebook the other day. I had no idea that the Boy Scouts, and Scott, you're very humble, the Boy Scouts have been helping seniors register for vaccines. I know members of this committee have been doing the same. A lot of folks have been working, doing this, giving of themselves, asking nothing in return. They do it behind the scenes without any fanfare or self-promotion. And I have to thank you for doing so. So we have the fire, we have the first aid squad, we have OEM, we have CERT, we have the MRC, the Medical Reserve Corps, and then everybody else in between. But really a special shout out to the first aid squad and to the police department. These folks have been working right from the beginning of this pandemic, and they certainly started at a time where it wasn't clear the real dangers that they would face, or at the time they were doing it, or going forward. And I don't think we can thank them enough for what they have done and continue to do. So again, I know I say it every meeting, and I'm going to say it again and again. Thank you for everything you guys do and gals. That said, I think Nancy.
Thank you, Mayor. I only have one thing, and it is just to remind everybody that JCP&L helicopters are patrolling. That wasn't something you missed. That's been on Facebook. We have a notice on our website through, I guess, yesterday. Then the second phase begins today through April 30th. So JCP&L does it every year, I believe, and they are just surveying transmission lines. So there is a green and white helicopter that will be patrolling and hovering. So if people see it, don't be alarmed. It is just JCP&L looking at their transmission line inspection. And that date could be extended due to inclement weather. So just want to get that out there. It's also on our website. That is all I have.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, so next up, item number 7, discussion, feral cats. And I think, Nancy, you're going to lead us on this one.
Yes, Mayor, this came to my attention a few weeks ago. A resident called in to complain about or to alert us about feral cats. Feral cats are just, it's another word for wild. They're wild cats in the Sterling area. They're in one neighborhood in particular, there was between a dozen and 25 cats that one resident is feeding and sheltering in cold months. And the problem is that they don't belong to anybody. They just wander around, and the fear is that they're not neutered and they're not vaccinated. So the fear is that they're a danger to health and safety, and that they're going to, turn into 100 cats, in a few months. And the health office has warned us that if we don't kind of nip it in the bud, that it could become a very serious health issue, because the number of cats can just keep extrapolating. So they told us that we needed to get it under control. While I said that nobody owns them, the state law considers that the person who feeds them owns them. And so since they are quote unquote technically owned by somebody, our animal control can't go take the cats, and if we wanted to pay to have them, neutered or vaccinated, we can't do that because they're this person's cats, even though all she's doing is feeding them. But it's causing problems for the neighbors. The cats are causing a mess all over the neighborhood. And like I said, the issue is more about reproducing. And before you know it, you've got a huge colony of feral cats. It's an issue in a lot of towns. And I looked up Morris County alone, the feral cat or just cat ordinances in general. And there are a lot of different options that you can do. But Jack and I looked at one in particular, and I guess the point is that what we want to do is to make sure that to prohibit people from feeding feral cats. But if they're going to feed them, then they're responsible to vaccinate them and preferably neuter them. Jack, did you want to elaborate on the ordinance that we found?
Yeah, cat ordinances are kind of like herding cats. It's very difficult. 10 or 15 years ago, we had a problem with feral cats in town, and introduced an ordinance limiting people to 3 cats. And the cat lovers from across the world came out to the meeting to object, so the ordinance was never adopted. So it's very difficult. So I think Nancy's approach is probably the best one, that we require if in fact you're feeding the cats, you own them. And if you own them, you have to vaccinate them. And as she said, preferably neuter them, although I don't think we could force that on them.
And if people aren't willing to vaccinate them, then our animal control officer would be authorized to trap them. And, it's up to you whether you want us to pay to vaccinate them. The options are we have to keep them in the kennel for 7 days. And if somebody claims them, then we give them to them. The option at the end of 7 days is to put them up for adoption. In which case, I think we probably have to neuter them, but I'm not sure. So it depends how far you want to go with that. But go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Nancy. If we are we responsible for adopting them, or do we just send them off to a shelter somewhere and they take care of it?
Well, we can.
But we have to pay probably for the.
We pay for the kennel for 7 days. That we have to do to see if anybody owns them. We do that with any stray. Right now, we only are responsible for stray dogs in our ordinances. We do the same thing with dogs. We keep them in a kennel for 7 days. We pay for that. If somebody comes and picks up, proves it's their dog prior to that, then obviously they go home. But if they're there for 7 days and nobody comes, then we put them up for adoption. What we usually do is with dogs, we fortunately don't get that many per year, but we find a home for them. We reach out to different organizations that do adoptions, things like that. We've actually been fortunate. Our last few dogs, employees have adopted, so it's been easy. It's more difficult to get cats adopted. And the other option, which I don't want to talk about, is euthanizing them, which I hate the idea of that, but that's what a lot of towns do. I don't want to advocate that. I don't want us to get letters that we're advocating euthanizing cats. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that is what is in a lot of ordinances. So while I don't know that we'd be responsible to find owners for all of these cats or find people to adopt them all, there might actually be an organization that might take them. I'm not entirely sure.
How many cats are we talking about?
Sorry?
How many cats are we talking about?
In this particular neighborhood, I think there's about 25 right now.
I mean, cats as pets that's one thing, right? That's great. But whenever you've got, cats kind of marauding the neighborhood freely, that's another situation entirely that we should be able to somehow take care of just as a matter of health policy, right?
That's what I'm asking for.
But but it seems that we're doing it at a great expense, right? 25 cats that we've got to first of all determine if they're being vaccinated. That's taking time. Meanwhile, there are 30 cats now, and then we're or more, and then eventually we've got to gather the 100 and then take them off and then pay for 7 days, and it just seems that it's costing us. It could cost us potentially a lot of money, and for what? They're not pets.
Well, there's
But by state law, we have to hold them for 7 days. That's part of the problem.
Sorry, Jack.
By state law, we have to hold them for 7 days. That's part of the problem.
But
the other option is, and Jack and I were looking at this, I don't know if they want to do this, but there's a lot of ordinances that create feral cat colonies, and then somebody's responsible to take care of them. I don't know that we want to go to that, but there's one person who's feeding them. Maybe she wanted to be in charge of them. If it created a feral
Sounds like we're encouraging feral cats by doing that.
It does. It's a really tough issue to try to address.
Can the zoning officer do anything of like a public health things? I know in other towns, like I think in Chatham Borough, there's somebody like that, and they find the person all the time, or they cite them.
Well, we'd have to have the ordinance like Nancy's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. It's animal control who would.
Right. It is animal control.
Right, but Nancy, is it, having that ordinance, I mean, you obviously have to do something. It's having the ordinance, is that leading us to, potentially costing us a reasonable amount of money, and also having somebody to keep track of the cats, right? If we kind of go back, Jack, to maybe not 3 cats, but we let people keep 5 cats, and
So-
and that seems to be a good number, right? I mean, a reasonable number, let's say, but any more than 5 is probably, there's probably something there, there's a potential health hazard that we should be able to step in and do something about without incurring that amount of expense.
Yeah, we could try that. We could try that approach again. Nancy found one town that allows 8. And I said, at that point, why bother?
Can you really do that though? I mean, we don't have cat licenses. We don't even require that they get vaccinated.
Right, that's a whole nother thing if you wanted to look at cats as well as dogs. So
Cat licenses are really hard to enforce.
There's a dog getting very upset about this conversation.
That's my dog. I didn't even realize I was on mute.
Imagine how the cats are reacting.
And not to mention, it sounds to me it's more humane to address the issue when it's 25 cats instead of when it's 100. Because if you wait till the population is so great, I don't know what would happen to those cats ultimately. So, I don't know that there's a perfect solution, but it sounds to me what Nancy's recommending might be, and Jack is supporting is the right approach from a humane perspective.
So, Guy, what's that? What were you saying that we should? What are you saying that we should do?
Well, I mean, follow what Nancy and Jack are saying, and whatever the law permits us to do. We can't leave the situation as it currently is. I think we agree on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I mean, I just like to see the cost of following that particular route, because I just think it would get, you have to get somebody to track the cats and make sure they're up to date with their vaccinations, and then then we have to house them, and then we have to adopt them somehow or pay somebody to take care of them. I think it just gets to be extremely expensive.
So what's the alternative though?
I guess that we have some kind of minimum number, some kind of maximum number of cats, and so we don't have, so whenever you have the 25 cats on the deck, we can do something about it.
Yeah, if somebody's feeding 10 cats, we go to them and we say, look, you can only have 5. You pick the 5 that are yours.
Yeah.
Right. And what happens to the other 5?
We have to put them in the kennel.
Oh, we have to do that
for 7
anyway.
days. Well, at that point in time, we'd have the right to do it.
Right. Yeah. So we don't need to track vaccinations or anything
All
else.
that
We
stuff.
just take
That's
them
exactly right.
and we throw them in there. Okay.
We could say, those are your 5 cats, give us proof that they're vaccinated.
Right, so when they vaccinate, when vets vaccinate, I don't know if they do this to all cats or just, the stray cats, they clip their ear. So you could tell that they've been vaccinated. So, if they've been vaccinated, I don't know, do you let them, do you leave them there? I'm not really sure. Like, there's really not a good answer. I can get a better idea on price for you.
Well, I think unless somebody claims ownership of them, we have the right to round them up, and take them to the kennel.
I mean, unfortunately, I think that's the only answer, is to do it now. Like the mayor was saying, if we let it go, and that's what the health officer is saying, if you don't.
Is it one person, Nancy, feeding all 25 of these cats, or we don't know?
Yeah, I mean, I know that person is feeding the cats.
I mean, that would enable us to round up 20 of them if she claims they're all hers.
Well, so she claims they're all hers. So the animal control officer was going to ask if she wants to keep them or if we can take them. So sign them over to us. She signs them over to us. We bring them to the kennel and go through that whole thing. But right now, we don't have any authority to do anything about it because we have nothing in our ordinance that authorizes him to do anything about it.
Is he willing to try that on a voluntary approach her? Maybe that's
Yes.
what we should do preliminarily, is have him say to her, will you sign over these cats to us and we'll take care of them.
Well, he was gonna ask her, I don't know if he's been able to do that or not, but I suspect she's gonna say no. I mean, she puts a tent out for them in the winter, so she obviously cares about
And sleeping bags?
it.
Now, I was just looking online. Bernard Township actually does issue cat licenses and requires that they be vaccinated. And so
Yeah.
that's one way of discouraging collecting so many cats, I suppose.
Yeah, there are a lot of good, there are a lot of ordinances. None of them is really ideal,
But I mean, if you're responsible for licensing them and having them vaccinated,
right.
it creates a little bit of an incentive not to collect so many cats.
Well,
You're right. That may be easier to track than trying to figure out whether they're vaccinated.
Because the real issue here is the rabies, right? That's the health hazard.
Well, and they also spread disease because they're in the wild.
right, and actually the person who contacted me actually had a paper. He's got a PhD and he had a paper. I don't know if he wrote it or somebody else wrote it, but he sent it to me about how cats can spread COVID-19. So he's very concerned. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just telling you what I read. But he was very concerned about that. I mean, I know there are other things they can spread as well. So I think the licensing, while it is difficult to enforce, I think that in this particular kind of instance where you've got this one person feeding, a dozen or 2 dozen cats, the health officer or the animal control officer could go to her house and say, do you have licenses for all those cats? Because under state law, she owns them. If she feeds them and shelters them, she owns them. So if she doesn't have them, then we can force her to license them and vaccinate them.
Yeah.
And I guess neuter them. I'm not sure if an ordinance can make them be neutered, but it might be the only way to do it.
I'm just looking now, Scott, does Bernard's limited number? Because that may be a corollary to it.
Not that I see. I'm looking at their site right now.
Yeah, I'm just looking too.
They charge $10 a cat plus $3 extra if the cat is not spayed or neutered.
Which we do for dogs.
Right. Dogs over there are 21 plus $3 if the dog's not altered.
Of course, then if they're not licensed, then we end up right back where we started, where the animal control officer takes them, brings them to the shelter. You go through that whole process.
Well, if you want, we could basically adapt their ordinance. It's a Board of Health ordinance, but it's easy in our case because it's the same, but 5 of the 7 people are the same.
I mean, is there any way that we could put the onus on the person who's out of whack, with the number, to deal with them rather than we deal with them, and we just end up citing them every time, whenever we go back and there's still 10 cats there and there should only be 5 or whatever, so that we're not incurring the expense here and of this happening.
I mean, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you enforce it because the cats aren't there all the time, so then we've either got neighbors reporting on neighbors, or we've got, our animal control guy just, spying on people's backyards to see if they're feeding cats.
Right.
Brendan, this surely is an instance of herding cats.
It certainly is.
It is.
Herding cat ordinances.
Yes, exactly.
It's a difficult topic, and I'm not sure what the best way to do this is. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that I think we need to do something.
The licensing thing sounds interesting because you also need to prevent this again in the future.
Yeah.
But the licensing is an annual requirement too, so it does allow us to monitor it more closely.
Maybe we just bring in some wild dogs. Just the cats.
Feral dogs?
Yeah.
Don't we have a dog catcher with one of those nets?
We do have a dog catcher. I'm not sure he has a net.
I'm starting to gather this is not a cat-loving committee. So I just want to try to do this in the most humane way possible, and stopping a colony from growing from 25 to 100 seems the right thing to do. So whatever has to be done is what we should do.
As we talk this through, I'm beginning to think Scott's right. The licensing may be the cleanest way and most efficient way to try to get control of it.
Okay.
So how about we do this? How about between Jack and I, we'll talk to some other towns. Megan, the clerk, can talk to other towns about licensing, and we'll put together a proposal for the next meeting for you to look at.
But but in the meantime, we'll go the voluntary route and ask
Yes.
the resident to.
Which may make it moot.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. Item number 8. My good friend Helena Thielman is resigning from the Beautification Committee effective March 19, 2021. And then item number 9. Megan, could I ask you to describe, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I don't have the information in front of me. The Lewis Bay II Scholarship Program?
Yes, so the New Jersey State League of Municipalities is offering up 3 $1,000 scholarships through the Lewis Bay Second Future Municipal Leader Scholarship Competition. Mayor Pasurchia decided to put it out to the Long Hill residents. It's for anybody of a junior or senior in high school. I'll put up all the details on the website, but you would be submitting an essay, approximately 500 words, and it is on how has local government played a role in your life regarding the ongoing pandemic. And
Thank
the
you.
due date, we moved to the 7th, correct?
That,
April
yep.
7th. So you'd be submitting them through the clerk's office for review from the committee that Guy has put together.
Thank you. And let's see. So item number 10. At this point, the meeting will be open to the public. Remarks, statements pertaining to any matter, not just on tonight's agenda. It could be from past agendas or something that hasn't in fact been on an agenda. Please try to limit your remarks and comments to 3 minutes. Now, Megan, do we do the written comments first? I don't know if we received any.
We did not receive any written comments, Mayor.
Okay, so then we're going to go right to, and you raise your hand, I think by pushing some sort of special button.
Yep, it looks like we have John raising their hand. Nancy, if you could unmute him.
Yep.
And John, can you just state your name and your address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is John McGlynn. I live at 285 Warren Avenue. That's the deck, by the way, where the cats are. And I've been a resident here for about 20 years and a member of CERT for about probably 11 since 2009. I have listened to your presentation. You know, if you'd like some background, I can give it to you, what happened with the cats over the years. There was a woman that lived on Union Street, right around the corner, that passed away, and the people that were in that house cleared out the house, and that's where all the cats came from. So over the number of years, we've taken in a lot of them. I know the neighbors in our neighborhood have taken in a lot of them. They're not 25, but there are probably like 5 to 8 cats left. A lot of them have died from coyotes and other mouth things. And, you know, there was a tent on the backyard, on the back deck. I talked to a lieutenant in the police department about it, and we removed it. And that was 1.5 years ago. So I don't know what the story is going on here. The cats that are outside are not our cats. You can't get them. The moment you go near them, they run away. So if you want to come and have someone come by and take care of them, fine. All our cats are indoor cats. So that we have. So we'd like to work with you, but I'd like to also get some reality here. So if we can. So what do you say? Can you hear me?
Yes, the
Sorry,
mayor.
John, I'm sorry, did you end it in the form of a question or was that more a comment?
Well, I mean, I like to work with Nancy or, you know, whoever. I mean, we have been very friendly with the people that came to the door. I guess the DOT, who came to the door?
It's the DPW workers who are
Right,
the
I had to
animal
talk with
control.
them. I mean, we let them know what the situation was. So, I mean, we're not out there to hurt anybody. We're not out there to make the guys next door uncomfortable. But we all, you know, and I've been a member of CERT for, you know, over 10 years, and I do care about this community.
Okay, so, you know, I can ask Randy and Mark, who are the animal control officers, to touch base with you again and see what we can figure out.
All right,
Okay?
that's fine. I mean, I just, you know, like I said, we're not here to hurt anybody, and they're not, I can tell you, God is my witness, there are not 25 cats that roaming the streets around here.
So, John, thank you very much for the clarification. I think that helps.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for attending the meeting.
You're welcome.
So, Megan, do we have any other questions? I'm looking.
Yes, CA is raising their hand. Nancy, if you could unmute them, and CA, if you could state your name and your address for the record, please.
My name is Charles Arenowitz. I live on Heritage Road in Millington. It looks like, based on tonight's meeting, and appears to the public, the town hall is beginning to open. As I look at my screen, I see 3 members there that are sitting in town hall. Based on tonight's presentation, the last meeting's presentation, and the article published in the Echoes, it looks like crowds can come into town hall. And I was wondering what our plans are based on this progress to opening town hall. The governor's opened the restaurants to 50% capacity. And I might add that we'll be receiving $828,097.55 from the American Rescue Plan. We can use some of these monies to pay for all the cameras, all the ultraviolet equipment we purchased, the acrylic that was installed months ago, and start having the public use this that we spent monies on months ago. So, Mayor, the question is, based on the perception to the public, it looks like we're open. If we're not opening, what are the plans to open town hall to the public?
So, Charles, I that's new to me. So I don't know if you prefer Charles or Chuck. Mr. Rentowitz is always a good way. So, first off, there are only 2 township committee members at town hall, to be clear. I don't want anybody to.
I'm looking at the screen. I see 3 people at town hall. Megan, the town clerk is there, I believe.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant 3 township
No,
committee
no,
members.
I said 3 people on my screen.
Okay. So, to your point, it's certainly something we are discussing. We have recently seen a bit of a spike in COVID numbers in Long Hill Township and in the state of New Jersey. That said, I agree with you. I think it's something that will happen sooner than later, but we want to wait until the numbers indicate that it is safe to do so. Honestly, my own opinion, I anticipate it being sometime in May. But again, I think the feeling of the committee is that we will wait till the numbers indicate that we can do so.
Well, but we're opening up the parade, the Little League, Sterling Lake. We have these ceremonies at town hall. The public doesn't quite understand that.
Well, the events you just mentioned, of course, are beyond May, right? I mean, Memorial Day, the lake, et cetera.
The 2 ceremonies today and last meeting weren't outside.
Well, That's true. I did want to touch upon your comment regarding the ARP, the American Rescue Plan of Act of 2021, which its full title is Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds. So anyway, I mean, that's something we're very familiar with. We've been in touch with Mikey Sherrill's office and with Congressman Melanowski's office. I was on a call this morning, it was a side conversation, but it was with the treasurer's office in New Jersey. I want to be clear. First off, that's not finalized. But if and when Long Hill Township receives funding from this act, it will be over 2 years, not one. So it's 400,000 plus 1 year, 400,000 plus another. There are general guidelines as to what this money can be used for. That also is not finalized. And last but not least, we're not certain when that money will be dispersed. It hasn't even been dispersed from the federal government to the state. And depending on population, municipalities will receive it either directly or via the state. Our population size, which I believe the cutoff is 50,000, as you know, we're 8,800. The money will come from the federal government to the state, and within 60 days, I think is the stated guideline, it will be dispersed to Long Hill. So I don't anticipate getting that funding at the earliest 2 months from now.
It's my understanding it's going to be dispersed sometime in June. If the state has problems, they can extend it to July.
Yep, and actually, thank you. You are 100% right. But let me touch upon where you and I absolutely agree. I think this funding should be used to assist, and they did list several items. It's kind of vague, right? To respond to the pandemic and its negative economic impacts, impacts, including assistance to households, small businesses, nonprofits, aid to impacted industries, premium to eligible workers performing essential work, provision of government services, et cetera, et cetera. So it is very broad. And I think this is something we will discuss in public as to how to expend this funding from the federal government. And you are right. I think we've already, and Nancy could speak to it better than I can, but there have been some things done at Town Hall to make it safe for the employees and the township residents when Town Hall opens. We can backfill those costs. And as
Can I interrupt
okay.
for 1 second? All of those costs were paid for by the New Jersey CARES Act.
Oh, it was already paid for. All right. So things going forward, like a air filtration system at Town Hall. So Chuck, you're 100% right. This is something that should be used to address the safety of employees and of residents when Town Hall opens.
So has the COVID task force addressed opening Town Hall, or what's their recommendation?
You know what? If I could, I'll turn it over to the deputy mayor, Brendan. He's laughing, but
He always likes my questions.
Sorry, Chuck.
You always like my questions.
Always. No, I think the problem that you have is the indoor limit. You still have an indoor gathering limit, which is one thing. And I think that's probably more to do with our meetings that we would, if we were to open up Town Hall for that. So that's problematic, where we would have to still have a kind of hybrid type of meeting. And I don't really think that in fact, I know that we don't have the technology right now to have some people present in the room and then have others coming in through Zoom or whatever. We don't have that technology right now. In regard to in regard to opening up the Town Hall, I mean, I think it's always been our position, and also, speaking for the task force, when we have discussed it in the past, that when there's no diminution of the services being offered to the public, then and there are still numbers spiking on the outside, and a highly contagious variant somewhat prevalent in New Jersey, it's probably prudent to keep town hall closed until numbers stabilize. And so we're looking at it certainly on a regular basis. But at the moment, with no diminution in services and still COVID out there, and as I say, a particularly contagious variant that we know is in New Jersey, I don't really see the need to open up town hall. And so I think a number of the things that you mentioned, Chuck, about the Sterling Lake. Sterling Lake was opened in the height of or last year, and we know that the restrictions that were put in place were good in that people were safe, and so we are thinking to open it right on time this year. The parade, as I said, the parade is still kind of we were thinking about potentially having it as a vehicle parade with no marchers. The ceremony is another thing, because we'll just have to see what the governor comes down with as far as the gathering limits. And so it's something that we are planning to have the parade at least, and the rest of it we hope we'll be able to have the rest of it. But that's still a work in progress. And the two gatherings that were had that you mentioned, this meeting and last meeting, we were their families together for the most part, and we were still under the indoor limit for these celebrations, is what they were.
Well, the concern I have, I believe I sent most of you the email of what Warren was using to have their meetings, and I believe one of our planning board members went to their meeting in Warren, where they have a joint transmission through Zoom and then a public session. Deputy Mayor, the problem I've got is we've got a lot of major applications before the zoning board and the planning board, where I think the physical presence of people, if they can come and ask questions and get the reactions of people, as well as if you have to do it on Zoom, maybe we need to get, with these monies that are coming in, the technology to do this. These are critical hearings, and I know your position is the boards are working fine, but from a public perspective, people are having trouble with the technology, with hearing, the questions, the phone lines, and it would do the community well to open up the town hall to those meetings so that public could be adequately represented when these hearings occur at the planning and zoning board. Nothing irrespective of the township committee. That's not a reflection on you, but those two boards are hearing critical applications to this town and where it's headed, and that the volume of units that are going to be built, and they need to be heard in public. And people are hesitant to raise their hand. They don't know how to do it. They raise it, put it down. You can't hear. So I take the counter that people need to be in public to present their views to the appropriate boards.
I mean, you and I differ on that. That's for sure, Chuck. I mean, I know that we sat through, a number of, just on the PRISM hearing, for example. I think we had 10 or 11 hearings, and I did not detect at any time that anybody had any problems with participating in the meeting, either from a fear perspective or certainly from a technical perspective. I thought those meetings went extremely well, and we also managed to get a lot of information out to the residents that we normally wouldn't have if we were meeting in person. So I think we will probably, I won't prolong this conversation. Maybe it's one that we have at some other time, but you and I differ completely on these meetings, and especially whenever we have to have the hybrid types of meeting. We just don't have the technology right now to do that. And I don't know when, no matter how much money we spent on it, we would actually have the technology in place. So, the way we're doing it right now, to me, is it really is optimal.
How did Warren get there? If we don't know, we ought to ask him.
Yeah, we can. I mean, certainly, Yolanta Maziar's our attorney is there, and we can certainly find out. But I know that we don't have the technology right now. And
Can we put that before the Communications Advisory Committee or whatever to look at this immediately?
I think what we can do is certainly, I can work with Nancy, and we can find out exactly, what happened, and or what Warren did in order to have these meetings and how successful they were. That's something I can commit to.
What kind of hybrid meeting are we talking about?
Where we would have Zoom, people in the room, and then we would also have people who would be participating via Zoom or some other means.
So have the whole planning board there, have people in the audience, and then have people participate by Zoom.
Yeah.
Maybe I would suggest that maybe one of you attend the Warren meetings to see how it works. I know one of the planning board members has done that.
We have talked about on the communications committee, we talked about it early on, and right now we don't have the capability of doing it. So, it hasn't been considered, and I don't know how many people actually go to Warren, but we are limited to 50 people indoors right now.
That works for me.
Well, if we had the capability, we could do that, but we currently don't have that.
So I'm sure, Mayor, you'll look into this and see what Warren's doing, and let's kind of get this addressed for the citizens of Long Hill.
You know what, and Chuck, I appreciate you bringing it in public. I think in principle, we agree on a lot of points, and I wasn't ignoring everyone. I was in fact asking a couple of contacts how they're going to do it. So I think Brendan is committed to speak with Yolanta. I will commit to speak to a bunch of other municipalities. I think this is a bit of a moving target. Brendan is certainly trained in this area, so I respect his opinion, and I do think not.
I'm losing the mayor.
Which I don't have.
Guy, I apologize. You went in and out. Can you repeat what you just said?
Well, what I was saying is, in principle, Chuck, I agree with you. And I commit, Brendan is committed to speak with Yolanta, who you are more than familiar with. Should commit.
These meetings are great, aren't they, Brendan? Because I can't hear the mayor.
That's because the mayor's in town hall. So that's the plain and simple.
Speaking of technology, anyway, Chuck, I hope you hear this. Thank you for bringing this up. I agree with you in principle. Did you hear that?
Yes, thank you.
And we will, and I think we will do some research and have some information at the next meeting as to what other municipalities are doing.
Great, thank you.
Chuck, thank you. Megan, do you see any hands?
Do not, Mayor.
Okay, and I will say, I do miss the in-person interaction with the public. I think you lose something there, not just in a township meeting, just in life. So I look forward to.
Mayor, we do have one more.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Oh.
If you could state your name and your address for the record, please.
My name is Dennis Sandow, and I live in Millington. I'm always delighted to hear about all the information that's coming out with regard to the vaccinations. And my observation is Bernard's Health's regular newsletter is totally useless. They send me the newsletter and they tell me that Walmart is now giving out shots, and here's what you do. They give me a link to a website, and that website is the Walmart store locator telling me there are 60 in New Jersey. And the instruction is call each one of the stores because each one maintains their own schedule. Well, quite frankly, I'm not that eager to get a shot that I'm going to call 60 Walmart stores and fish for a place. I think that if the health department were a little more in tune with how the residents, the taxpayers actually function in their lives, they wouldn't say, hey, Walmart is now giving out shots. They would say, don't bother with Walmart because it's a pain. So then I went to the county website, which tells me that the shots in Morris County are being scheduled through Atlantic Health. So then I went to the Atlantic Health website, and Atlantic Health started asking me a bunch of questions, page after page of questions. And we finally got past the fact that I am a male, 80 years old. And the next question was, are you nursing? Now, it seems to me that if they had any medical skills at all, they would know that it's improbable that I would be nursing. So this continues more than a year later. This continues to be a totally undisciplined operation. And I wish we would stop making promises to the public that we've got it under control. And that's the end of my comment.
Thank you, Dennis.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just say one thing, that I believe the Walgreens in town is given is administering vaccines. So the local Walgreens is administering vaccines, and we actually talked about that today at the task force meeting. And at least at least 2 people had managed to call up and get vaccines through Walgreens. So Dennis, if you're if you are seriously looking for one, it doesn't, it may seem like a lot of effort, but they are available.
Well, it's more than seems like a lot of effort. It actually is a lot of effort.
Yeah, Dennis, the only thing I would point out, and I'll add to what Brendan just said, that's out of our control. We can do what we can do within the constraints that we have. I mean, this is a state-run situation. We can't produce the vaccines. The first chance we have to set up a site of our own, we will. I think, Brendan, you said earlier, the health department has everything in place. The only thing we don't have are vaccines.
Yeah, and that is absolutely true, Mayor. The Board of Health has had permission since January to hold a local vaccine clinic, and wherever the state, they jumped through hoops to get permission to do it. It was not an easy process. They got everything in place, and we're given the green light. And then the state called them 3 days later and said, look, we don't have vaccines. And that's still the case, even although I know that on a daily basis, they are advocating for a vaccine to be released to them so they can run the clinic. So the Board of Health is a small cog in a very large state machinery. And they're doing the very best that they can for the towns that they serve. And I know that firsthand.
And to
with
your
all due
point,
re-
go ahead, sir. I'm sorry, Dennis.
with all due respect to the usual disclaimer about we have no control, I disagree that the Bernard's Board of Health is doing the best that they can. If they were doing the best that they can, they would stop seeing everything is rosy and knuckle down and report the bare facts that if this particular chain is in the program now, be prepared when you go to their website to be told that you have to call each store individually. Don't just tell us that, hey, they're available. I don't think that Bernard's Health is actually screening the press releases that they get and trying to do good for the public that's paying for their services. I think they're just parroting the press releases that they receive without giving it any thought at all.
Okay, Dennis, I'm sorry, Mayor, I just have to say this, that I think we do as a committee, and I certainly do have more contact with the Board of Health than perhaps you do, Dennis. And I'll tell you that is absolutely not the case. They are doing the very best that they possibly can for the local community, given the constraints that they're working under. And as I said, they're just a small cog in a vast state-run machine, and they are absolutely doing the best that they can.
I understand that you have more contact with them, but my only contact as a taxpayer and a recipient of their services is the newsletter that they send out all the time. And the newsletter is not useful and it is not factual. And I would like them to pay a little bit more attention to what they are disseminating. Now, I believe everything you tell me. There's no question about that. But the health department is running a disinformation campaign.
Thank you, Dennis. And thank you, Brendan, for filling in some of the questions there. Megan, do you see any other hands?
I do not, Mayor.
So at this point, I would look for, and just wish everybody well. I think it's 70 degrees plus tomorrow. So get out there and enjoy it as opposed to today's rainy day all day. And I wish everyone well. I think brighter days are right around the corner. And I say that quite sincerely. I believe that is the case. So now I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
See ya.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.